Hello and welcome back to our CAD clips on our first Revit MEP HVAC project. And in this lesson we're going to show you how to look and use the inspection tools. We can inspect our air system, and I would suspect you can do the same thing with the plumbing and the piping tools. And all this is a display thing. We're going to hover over a piece of duct work, and then we will be able to put in a flag and get some information, some data on what's going on inside of that ductwork or piece of equipment. So if we go to our help and we go to our tutorials, we're just in this lesson here inspecting air systems down under our designing air systems. We double click on there. We can see that there's our data set. We're going to go in and focus on an area here on the second floor. When an object is part of a system, remember there's the physical system, the ductworks, and there's the logical system. And the logical system is what is shown inside of the system browser. Up to this point, we have not created a system for the main trunk and its tributaries up to the VAV units. These objects inside of here are part of a named supply air system, but these upstream pieces of ductwork I'm showing you here are not part of a system yet, and when they do become part of a system, we will be able to use the inspector, and we'll notice that in the data set we open in the file, it's not going to give us the option to inspect this piece of ductwork, but it will let us inspect this stuff down inside of here. If you go and open up one of the data set files further down after we've completed the air system, and you open up the file for this tutorial, you will be able to use inspection on all of the parts, because then they'll be part of a system with an AC unit over here. So that's the first thing we want to point out, is to use the inspection tools we're going to use here. The objects have to be part of a logical system, and we can see that in the system browser. A VAV unit belongs to two systems. That's the other thing I should point out, is the VAV unit belongs to this system here, and it also belongs to this system. So when you go to inspect this object, if you inspect it at this point, it's going to come up and give you the information because it's only part of this logical system. This logical system up here has not been defined yet. Once you define the system over here, this VAV unit, and the same as this one and all the other ones, they have a representation in both systems, so they are part of both systems. Then when you go back, if you were again open up this file here that comes with this tutorial inside of here, checking air systems, okay, instead of this one, and then you hover over this to inspect it, it will actually prompt you, do you want to inspect the information from system 25 or from system number 5 as an example. So this VAV unit will be part of both systems, and when you inspect it later on, it'll prompt you which system do you want to inspect, and then it highlights that system and you can go in and do your inspecting. The actual inspecting part is very easy. Understanding what can be inspected is the first thing I wanted to clarify. The other thing to point out is in our system browser, these objects here and on the main line over here that are at this point not part of a system get filed in the system browser as unassigned. Okay, and don't think that because it's an unassigned system it is a system. It is not. It's just being filed there. It is not until it gets named and created and you say create system and you include it as part of the system, that's when it technically moves from unassigned to the supply air folder in the system browser that we'll be using, and at which point then you can go in and do the inspecting. So if an object is part of what is an unassigned system, it is not considered to be a system. Okay, Therefore, it cannot be inspected until that point. So unassigned is not a system, and we'll see that in our system browser. So let's go in and try this out. So we're going to open up a file, and it's going to be I inspecting air systems. So we'll say OK. We'll go open, and then we'll go to our training files, Imperial, sort, mechanical, and we want I inspecting air systems. You'll notice there's an inspecting piping file for future CAD clips yet to come. So we'll open up that file, and of course in true CAD clip fashion, I'm going to switch it to wireframe right away to speed up my display, and I'm also going to check and see what level it puts me on when I'm inside of here. So I'm going to switch right away to wireframe. I'm noticing I'm on level 1 mechanical. I'm going to switch to level 2 mechanical is what the tutorial asks us to do. And now I'm going to switch to wireframe again. Now what I'm talking about is if you pick on a piece of ductwork and you go to the properties, it's going to say inside of here the system name is mechanical supply air number 17. Okay, that's what this is part of. If you pick on this object and you go to the properties, it's going to say it is part of the default supply air. Okay, default means that it's unassigned. Okay, notice there's no number on it. Okay, if you pick on this piece of ductwork and you go to the properties, it's going to give you number 17. If you pick on this piece of ductwork and go to the properties, you're going to see this default supply customer name. Okay, not part of a system yet. Okay, so now what I'm talking about, watch what happens up over here. If you pick on an object, piece of ductwork, and it's not in a logical system yet, and you click on it, you'll see certain information. Okay, if you pick on something that's part of a system, you're going to see more information. Okay, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and move this over to the side a little bit, and I'm going to stretch this out. Okay, more information. So now when you pick on an object that's part of a system, you're going to get your edit system and add equipment, remove equipment, and there is our infamous inspect button. Okay, if you pick on this guy, you won't see the inspect button. If you open up the file after this piece of ductwork and equipment has been added to a logical system, then when you pick on it, you'll get different options up over here. Okay, so in this case we're working downstream from the VAV unit, so I can pick on here and I can say inspect. When I do inspect, it says okay, these are all the objects in that system. What do you want to do? I can modify. Okay, I don't want to really modify, I want to inspect. So I go over here to the left hand side and I'll just squish this back down here. Okay, and I'll pick the inspect button. And then as you hover over objects, you're going to see it's going to give us information. So I can pan over here and I can pick on here and I can flag that. And then it's going to place a temporary piece of information. Now to compare that, I can go over here and I can hover over that. Okay, you'll also notice that there is going to be some color-coded arrows inside of here showing the flow as you inspect it. Okay, to stop the inspection, you just click out. Okay, soon as you go into the inspection tools, you'll notice that you have arrows in here that are showing you the flow. It's kind of subtle. Okay, so there's little arrows, and the color depicts where the highest loss of friction is taking place. Pressure loss, I believe. So, and you can have a look in the tutorial file about the color coding of there's blue and there's green and there's red arrows. Okay, red is the more critical. So again, I can hover over here, pick, gives me that information. As I do that, I can place that temporarily. I can hover over here and I can compare. Okay, the information. As soon as I place this one, it's going to automatically get rid of the previous one. So you don't really place any permanent information using these inspection tools. All you simply do is inspect. And then you can pick the properties if you want. You can go back and do modify, which is where you can go in and move. You'll notice if you do modify and you pick on a piece of ductwork, it gives you the elevation of the wherever it is probably justified by the center at 9'6". So you can pick on these objects. That one's not good, but this one will give you 9 feet. Oh, it's not giving us elevations, only on the regular ductwork, 9'6", etc. at those points. And then if we wanted to, for some strange reason, we could go in and change these numbers. Okay? So inside of inspection. So all we're doing here, again, is inspecting. We're just getting information. And you can only place 2. You can place 1, and then you can hover to compare with the second one. As soon as you place the second one, the first one gets deleted. And then we can say finish inspection. Okay. If we've modified anything and we hit cancel, it'll undo that. Once again, right now we can't do our inspection. If we open up the file for checking air systems, we will be able to inspect that. What happens if we inspect this piece of equipment, this VAV unit? Okay, let's click on it. Okay, it's giving us our inspection option over here, just barely off screen, inspect. Okay, and then it says, okay, it's part of this system, etc. Then I can say inspect, and I can gather that information. Okay. Later on, if you open up a more developed file where this has all been added to a logical system, and you click on this and you say inspect, a little dialog is going to pop up and say which side of this system which one of these systems do you want to inspect, and then it'll go in and you can see it grays out everything that's not in the system. Okay. You can hit F9 on your keyboard. I'm going to go to Window and hit System Browser. Okay. Inside of the system browser, remember mechanical, piping, electrical, these are the ones that have been added to a real logical system. Okay, and we can see inside of here. Okay, most of the it's driven from the VAV units down, and you can see most of it is in room number 1 and 2, the open spaces, and there's a couple of them actually located within offices themselves. Okay, but most of the VAV units are located in open space 1 and open space 2. Okay, and then when you click on one of these, for example, you can hover over here, mechanical supply air 13. You can right click on here and say show me that. It's going to go show you that system. I can hit close. Okay, and that is on the second floor. Okay, so then you can do that. What happens if we go to here and we go to one that's on the first floor and we say click on here, go to mechanical, right click, you can see the blue circles, right click and show or inspect. By the way, we can say inspect, we can say show, and it's going to show us. Now notice in this case, because we're in the second floor and we're asking to show us a first floor mechanical system, okay, it does it, but all it does is show you the geographical area of where it is. But technically you're in the wrong view. So now you're going to hit show again and it'll actually go to the next view, which is now I'm in floor plan 1. If I say show again, it says that's all the views that are open that can show that. So you have to have the view open. So everything's good, and then we can hit close and it leaves us back in our first floor mechanical. So that right there, right click, if I say inspect, now I can go in and inspect that system. Okay, I'm going to cancel my inspection. I'm going to go up here and close off this. Now we have the unassigned stuff. Okay, the unassigned stuff is here, default supply air. Okay, we have a fan, we can say show me this. Okay, and then I can say show again, there's only one view, okay, close, cancel, zoom out. So it's saying, you know, on the first floor mechanical, this object is in an unassigned. Well, the interesting thing is this object here is part of this system and shows up over there, but as part of this system, it is got a version of it that is unassigned. Okay, because if I click on this object and I go to the properties, okay, and I go down here, default air supply. Oh, okay, so it's not part of, I thought it would show up as part of this system. What is this system? If I click on there and I go to the properties of that, that is mechanical supply air 1. Okay, so let me just do a little investigation here. Mechanical air supply, okay, probably this one, there it is. So if I click on there and I go parallel fan powered VAV, that's got to be this unit right here. And then if I right click on here and say inspect, it's going to show me that system. So this VAV unit is part of this system right inside of here. Okay. When it becomes part of this system too, when you do check the properties, it'll actually give you both system names. It'll put a comma between them when you check the properties of it. So mechanical system, and inside of there's one diffuser. If I right click and I say show me the diffuser, it shows it to me. If I go to here and I go show me this, it shows me the system. If I go to this and I right click and show me that, it shows me the VAV unit. So we're starting to get the feel of our all-powerful system browser here. So this guy here has a representation here as part of Mechanical Air Supply 1, but it's also showing up in here as an unassigned object as far as relation to this guy goes. So that could be a little bit confusing. As we create the main system, I'm going to hit cancel here. As we create these finish off these systems, all of a sudden this unassigned will just become empty, and that's what you want. You want to empty this out. These are objects that have not been assigned to a logical system yet, but yet their presence is in the model. So we'll see a little bit more of that. We can also take that a step further. I'll give you some hints of what's coming up. Is we can go in here, tools, and just down below off screen, you can't see it, it says check duct systems, and you'll be able to go through there, okay, and you'll be able to see these objects that have not been assigned to a system yet. So we'll talk about that in another CAD clip. So that should get you started using your inspection tools for your HVAC system.